Hello there, and welcome to my tutorial about wells and light aquifers in Dwarf Fortress. I'm Icon, and in this video, well, I'm going to be talking mostly about well building, but I'm also going to cover how to breach a light aquifer and how to use them in the same video, because these two topics, they just fit so well together that I felt like it's going to be ideal. If you're looking for a specific part of this video, just check out the description box. There's timestamps down there leading to the aquifer breaching or how to set up the well. Just check it out and click there and you'll be hopping right there. So first off, how does a well function and how is it set up together? A well is made in the Machines and Fluids tab, and it requires quite a lot of parts actually. So first off, you need blocks, which you can make at the Carpenter's Workshop or the Stoneworker's Workshop. You need a bucket, which you can make at the Metalsmiths or the Carpenters. You'll need mechanisms, which can be made at the Mechanics Workshop, and you'll need a chain or a rope, which will be found at the metalsmiths or at the clothiers. So the good news is most of these parts are already present when you start on out. Your caravan at the beginning with a default start has buckets and has ropes, so you don't need to worry about that. You just need to make yourself some blocks and some mechanisms. As I said before, these can be made out of stone. So basically, once you have access to stone, you have all the pieces together to make your own first fountain. So the fountain itself needs a body of water underneath it. Here we see an example of a working fountain. So when we go down here, we see below it is a body of water. And when you click it, when it's all fine, you see the well is operational. When it's not, there will be a message that the well is dry. Basically, you can set up the well on an open tile that's lying directly above the water, and then you can put up these things. And what is it good for? Well, first of all, it provides water, but that is, for drinking purposes, the least interesting aspect. First and foremostly, your dwarfs will drink water if there's no booze, but they'll hate it. So better provide booze at any point. What's a more often frequented and used thing there for the well is washing. Your dwarfs will wash themselves at a well. And the last thing, what it's really most important for, in my humble opinion, is your wounded dwarfs won't drink any booze. Without access to water, your dwarfs will suffer a high chance of dying from dehydration. So if you want to go to combat, you will need access to fresh water one way or another. The well is one method. The other method would be living right next to a river and have just enough buckets. But at the end of the day, a well in your own fortress is safer and easier accessible than people running to the river. So the first method that I want to show how to build a well will be utilizing a light aquifer beneath. So on this tile we have directly one level below a light aquifer, which we're going to use to make ourselves a easy and powerful little cistern. And this will be a body of water that will be constantly filled by the aquifer, which is clean, safe, and has no downsides except for the fact that it will be always in the higher layers of your fortress. So this fountain won't be reachable down here past the aquifer, but that's just that thing. Righto. So the next step to build that cistern is to put on a staircase, which leads into the cistern to be. If you're digging into an aquifer, you have to give that command twice. And then you just dig it out like that. As you see there, my digging commands got cancelled one more time. Basically, every digging command through an aquifer has to be confirmed twice. Now you have the cistern ready. You don't need to do more than that. This room will fill with water all on its own. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put up floorboard on top of the staircase, because we won't be needing that anymore. And if anything, it's just a death trap, because experiences have shown that while this staircase here is available, if your dwarfs get submerged into water, they have a hard time using the staircases up if there's turbulences in the water. Anyway, most of the time they would get out, but don't take that risk. It's not necessary at all. The next step is to breach a channel into that. And basically the dig channel command just blasts away a piece of a floor in the ground. To reverse that command, you use the floor building. And now we have a hole in the ground, which we can build the well upon. So there we go. And we don't have access to mechanisms right now, so let's make us some. And right now, as you see there, the aquifer is now slowly filling our cistern with water. And that's how we're able to fill that thing over the course of the time. And it's a pretty simple, albeit powerful method to get yourself water. That's why I personally love living next to a light aquifer, because it's actually a really, really cheap and available source of water. And with some creativity, you can even use this to pipe the water down to your other levels. So, and basically, you could have dug your staircase much, much deeper and quickly dig that out over several levels and put in floor grates so the water runs all the way down, and then you can redirect it wherever you want it. There are so many ways to manipulate aquifers that I probably will do its own video about that. But for now, that's all we need. So as you see there, this is now filling up, and I hope the mechanisms have been made. So yeah, we can build that now. So we get to select the blocks, the buckets, the ropes, and the mechanisms. And once the fluid level has reached 3 or more, the well is operable. Done. So I'm going to show you another little method that you can apply if you have a river but no aquifer. So for this method, we'll have to put the fountain on this level, because down there starts the aquifer. But technically, the method that I'll show you, you can basically lay the river as deep down as you want to. So first of all, let's find a spot that doesn't interfere with our existing fortress. That'll be here. So we're going to dig ourselves a channel here, maybe not at the tree. And this way, we're going to divert the river away from there. Next thing, we're going to build ourselves a chamber down below and check out what happens here. So now we're diverting the river. If you want to be real nifty about all that, you create yourselves a floodgate, which you slam in here in between, link it to a lever, and then you can shut on or shut off your water access at any point. So the next thing we're doing, we're going to set up another room here like that. And then we're going to put up a triple staircase here. And then we're going to put that up like that. That's just one method you could apply there. There are several ways and means how you can manipulate water in this game. I just want to give you a couple of basic first impressions that are very, very easy to replicate and aren't hard to pull off. So basically what we're doing now, you might already foresee it, we are almost there. So we could now put up a well here. And I want to show you another fine feature about that. So yet again, we're going to use now these staircases as a funnel for bringing the water down. The other thing you could do, and I would strongly recommend you to, would be to use floor grates. So put 3 floor grates in the down here, and seal this off with floor tiles if you want to be real safe. Floor grates, they don't let any monsters or fish through, but they let water through. So this way you won't get any unwanted guests from the river. But for the sake of simplicity, we're going to do this now for not like that. You can use staircases as well as a way and mean to to put water down. So the next thing I'll do, I'm putting up a wall here because I don't want to flood my own place. There we go. And the next step is we're going to use the channel command, and we're going to channel out this spot pod here. And then we're going to channel out that part here. And now we can build that well on top of that. Here we go. I'm doing this to show you that wells can traverse several height levels. As a matter of fact, there's no real limit that I know of how deep a well can go. It's just important that between the well and the body of water is no floor tile obstructing it. So we have set up everything. While the well's being built, we're going to dig a channel down here. And watch what'll happen. This is very, very simplistic and basic. You can basically do much, much more with the same method. You could also just dig down here, and instead of going down here, we could go for another set of staircases, another set of staircases, another set of staircases. You could basically lead the whole river downstairs this way, as long as you want to. As you see there, it's all gushing down here, and now, or well to be, well, it's not done yet, but our well is well filled. And you could use the same method to do this, of course, underground. That's as simple as that. And here we have a well above ground, which doesn't really put much function up because you don't want wells above ground, especially not right next to the river, but you get the idea. This way we could have taken that river, if there would have been no aquifer in the way, and just wired it all down here. You can use that not only for wells, but also for powering your water wheels and a lot of other things. So these basic methods apply. And the last and third method to set up a well would be to dig deep, 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 deep down until you reach the cavern level. And the caverns always have bodies of water or rivers or whatnot. And basically, by applying the same rules that we saw up there, a well can just go straight down to that and still pick up water. It's no problem. But be aware of one thing. If you pick up water from underground, the stuff underground can take the same way up to you. So better have some floor grates and such things, or bars in the way that you can do something against unwanted visitors. That's really important. These three methods of well building are pretty useful and easy to apply. I personally love aquifers because they have ready-made water for you, but with these methods you can also lead a river into your base. If you have no river, you gotta rely on underground sources of water. That's also pretty useful. Anyways, so the last thing that I want to feature here real quick is now aquifer breaching, light aquifer breaching. It's super simple. I just want to show you how it's done. So you go on and you dig down into the aquifer layer, and you have now all these walls that are exuding water. We know that already. So to make them stop, we're going to carve out every 4 of these walls, and then we put up a wall on top of it. So aquifers only drop water in their it's called orthogonally, I think. Basically north, west, east, south, and no diagonal walls are ornament in that regard. So when we seal it off like that, there's no more flow of water. And that's pretty much it, you know. You do that with every aquifer level that you want to breach. You can basically also go and make it a tad bit larger, just like that if you want to. And if you get lucky and you breach a level that has actual stone walls, here we sadly have silt yet again, so we can't smooth that. Stone walls can be smoothed, and then you can basically save yourself from that construction work. You can't just smooth the stone walls and you get the same result. Basically, a smoothed stone wall or a constructed wall both won't let the water the water through your aquifer to be. So basically, the size of the shaft is a lot about how you want to work with it. You could also use a larger shaft like that and prepare it to transport the river down below, you know. But one really important thing to note is when you're through with the aquifer, as you see here, the layer right below the aquifer has still some damp tiles. Most of the time, it's smarter to just dig down one extra layer to be away from the water for real. So it's up to you how you use that. Like I said before, our method here, we could have just went and dug a shaft just to divert the river through there. There are really many ways to use that, and I think there's not much more to say about light aquifer breaching. That's all you need to do. And one last thing, probably worth mentioning, if you'd get a tunnel down below these chambers, you could actually breach them upwards by, for example, constructing a staircase upwards, because staircases breach the floor up above, and this way you can basically punch a hole into these. But be wary. You're emptying the entire body of water on top of the poor dude that does the job. So whenever you're working with water, it's really important that you pay attention to safety precautions. For example, here putting a floodgate in between is basically giving you the ability to expand or change the system. If you don't do that, it's a lot harder, because now we cannot just construct a wall in there. That's not possible anymore. We basically, once it's flooded, you know. That's one of the things you really have to get your head around. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about light aquifers and wells. I hope you found that helpful. Leave me a comment down below if you have anything to add, questions, or you know, there's a lot to say about that topic. I hope I summarized it in a way that you find it digestible, understandable, and enjoyable. So leave a thumbs up if I made that happen, and leave a subscription if you enjoyed my work so much that you want to get informed every day. There's also a link to a playlist filled with several other tutorials about Dwarf Fortress down there, alongside with some support links for the channel, leading to Patreon, PayPal, and Buy Me a Coffee. I'd be really enjoying your support, because, you know, I'm a free content creator. I have no big sponsors behind me, and that's all I got. So thanks for all the supporters out there. I deeply appreciate, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun with Dwarf Fortress. See you guys there, and have a good one.